Hello everyone, I'm Saima Abdi and I welcome you to Elta, English Language Teaching Assistance Program. And you have opted for one of the courses, that is 1123. What is Elta? This is the first question to be answered in this video. Elta is a small initiative that is taken by me in order to facilitate English language teachers to team up, grow, and excel together. It provides you a platform where you can interact with other teachers with whom you can expand your networking. You can share your ideas, your expertise, and your experiences as well. The basic aim of this course is to help you teach Cambridge language learners who would be appearing for a course code 1123 English as a second language. So I would be helping you and you would be able to explore the syllabus, assessment objectives, description of the paper components, the paper pattern, and the marking scheme as well. There are some other objectives as well, which you could say are the hidden objectives of this course. You are teaching to the 21st century learners who are tech savvy. They have short concentration span and they're mostly engaged in their own gadgets. So you can just imagine the time when they are being taught by using chalk or talk method or maybe lecture based method. They are not engaged, they are not motivated to learn, and that is why the learning objectives are mostly not achieved. By completing this course, you would be in a position to explore the way how learning can take place online, and you would also be in a position to create your own online course. Let's explore ELTA to find out how the main objectives and hidden objectives are achieved in the first unit. So here I am. You can see the list of things to be done. They're very clearly mentioned. I have started off with learning objectives. So you're very clear about the things that would be completed, or the concept that would be completed by the end of this week. Clicking on the first task, you can see the time frame mentioned to make students understand that how much time would be consumed in this activity. So it's self-paced course and you can just figure it out that if I have to complete task 1, when and where I could complete it. So you are free to do it at whatever time it's feasible for you, whatever place it's feasible for you. You can see that I have started off with questions. These are questions that are related to you. So these are questions in which I can personalize each and every detail. One of the ways in which we can motivate the students is to start off with something easy, start with something known. And you can see that these questions are helping you out to explore about yourself. I'm so glad to read the responses of yours because each one of you shows that you are possessing multiple abilities and skills. So you are having self-awareness, and this is one of the attributes of 21st century learners. You know about the strength of yours, and even you can easily find out the challenges that you have ahead. So in such a way you can use your strengths to cater the problems to cope up with the challenges of the future. This is some of the things that are to be incorporated in our lessons as well, where we help the student first to identify their strengths and then to begin the teaching. So these questions would help you to have a SWOT analysis, or you can add on some of the questions that interest your learners as well. Could be used as an ice-breaking activity, and you can have it as a warm-up activity as well by changing the questions. You can see that I have here started off with introduction of yourself, then moved on to the second part in which I actually want you to interact with peers by commenting on the introduction of the other participants, and then suggesting some of the ways in which these challenges could be met. This is one of the ways in which you are trying to incorporate problem solving or critical thinking among the students. And critical thinking is also one of the 4 C's of the Cambridge syllabus. You can see that it has responded well by your peers and you as well, definitely. And some of the writing, some of the attributes that you possess are worth praising. You are passionate learners. You are devoted. You are determined. You have been working so hard to improve all the qualities that are already with you, and even you want to challenge yourself to be better. So you are lifelong learners. Congratulations. Okay, so in the second activity you can see that you have explored syllabus aims and content. You came to know about the 4 C's of Cambridge 1123 syllabus. That is communicative competence, critical thinking, cross-cultural awareness, and creativity as well. So you were asked to watch a video, and while you were watching a video, you were asked to design 2 questions. So what I did here was actually to provide a purpose to the reading task, and for that I have used a YouTube video. This is one of the technological tools that can be easily exploited. So instead of giving students the reading material on paper, you can provide them with a video with no voice, so that the students read it themselves first, and then the next thing is the purpose is to design a question. So while reading the information, they have something embedded in their mind that they have to find information for which they can create questions. These questions could be categorized. You can ask them to make open-ended or close-ended questions, or you may ask them to make one open, one close, up to you. Whatever learning objectives or outcomes you have, you can design your instructions in the same way. So here you can see that most of the questions that I was expecting were close-ended question, which are also called display question, for which the answers are very obvious. However, I was very glad to see that you have come up with questions that were open-ended as well, that were to be answered critically. And I loved answering those questions. I really loved the way how you have designed questions in a combination as well, open and close, or both open-ended questions. I hope you are also going to answer the rest of the questions. I have answered only few of the questions, maybe one of each comment. You may come up with better suggestions for your peers. And I believe in you. You all are imbued with passion, intelligence, and brilliance. This was a reading activity, but you can also have a listening task as well, designed in the same way. You can have a video along with the sound, and then ask the students to create questions, or maybe you can ask the students to come up with some other activity, like to write a review of it, or write a summary of it. In the next task, in which you were asked to explore the assessment objectives of CAIE, the first task was to visit the flashcards. These flashcards were based on the terms that are used in the reading material of assessment objectives. Though they were easy, but they were technical terms that were used, and I wanted to pre teach the vocabulary. This is one of the ways how listening comprehensions and reading comprehensions can be made easy. In order to make the students read fluently or read quickly, you need to identify the words that are difficult. Once you have identified those words, you can pre-teach the vocabulary in any way, just like I used flashcards, and these were powered by the Quizlet. You have seen that I created a list of words first. When I pasted those words in Quizlet, there were many definitions that were offered. I had chosen the one which were appropriate according to the context. As I posted the link here, you were able to use the flashcard, flip them till the time you are familiar with those words, and you believe that you could have retained the information, so it's okay, and to move forward to the next task. The next task was to find out your understanding of the words or your retention by taking a test. This is for self assessment. One of the ways to make learning easy, to help the learners assess their progress themselves. When you ask questions in the class, at that time there are students who are dominating and they mostly steal the show. They answer the question and they do not let the weak learners, the low achievers, to take time, overcome their hesitation, and to speak up. So, most of the time, there are few students who are active in the class, and the rest of the class is mostly inactive, or they couldn't get the opportunity to speak on the right time. So such activities are going to help each and every students to contribute in the learning process. They can learn at their own pace, and they can also test their understanding there and then. If I want to find out the marks as well, if I want to grade their performance, I have here quiz option in Canvas that is integrated. So here the marks can be displayed as well. I can see the marks, and even you can allow them to take this test, to take the quiz multiple times, unless and until they attain the desired results or the desired grade. So the assessment would be ongoing, and the assessment would be to improve the performance of the students rather than judging their performance. This flashcard technique could be used for vocabulary development. The students can learn new words and even find out the way how they are used in the context, and then they can create their own sentences as well. In the next activity, where you were asked to study the assessment objectives, and then they have to post their responses on Google document. What I wanted to do is to help you develop connections in the information given, that is new knowledge, to the prior knowledge you have, because being language teachers, many of the activities that are created in order to assess student performance in different areas. So you just need to build up those links to find out which assessment objective would go with which activity. And as I click on the Google document, you can see that the same is done by most of you. For assistance, I had provided example so that I have a clear idea what exactly I want. I have also mentioned the name of the participants. This list is required so that I can at a glance find out the contribution of each and every participant, who has participated, who hasn't participated, and the quality of work as well. So what you did as a participant, you first read what is already written so that you do not copy the same thing, you do not come up with the same information, and this repetition could be avoided. This gives you an idea how to do it and what to do and what not to do. So I can see some of the examples that are really very relevant and that are very interesting as well. Just like you can see that here, Rabia Salim has mentioned about product research, project analysis and evaluation. You can see Alina Arshad, who has mentioned about descriptive essay as one of the activities to achieve writing objectives. Here Ruqayya has mentioned about very comprehensive reading activity for achieving the reading objective. I noticed, I wonder. This could be a brilliant activity to engage the learners throughout the process, reading process. And I even like this one that is posted by Salima Shehzad. It's about jigsaw reading. Jigsaw reading also makes learning easier, so that because the reading is done in chunks and then it is shared with one another. The crux is shared with one another, so it could be easily explored by you and your learners and can be even equally enjoyed. So you can use Google Doc not only for this type of activity but even for writing an essay as well, in which you just write the topic and ask the students to pour in their ideas. So everything would be in black and white, everything would be jotted down, and that it would be easily to organize idea, it would be easy to pick up ideas which are liked by the learners and which they do not want to proceed with. Okay, so these were the activities. There were a few more activities that I would like to talk about. Let's see what were these and how you can incorporate them in creating your own lessons online or even offline as well. So the next I have is an activity in which you were required to attempt a quiz after watching a video. In this video, the description of components was mentioned precisely, each and everything was discussed, including the marks, the time, and the expectation. Everything was incorporated here in this video. Once you have watched it, the second time when you are watching the video, you are attempting a quiz, and the quiz is embedded within the video. You can pick up any YouTube video and create your own quiz by using EduPuzzle. EduPuzzle can be easily, you can say that, modified according to your needs. Questions can be inserted anywhere where you want. So you have here entered as a student. Once you are going to enter or log in as a teacher, you have all the rights to choose the video and then to modify the video by adding questions. These questions can be of any type. It could be an information gap question where they are fill in the blanks or close passage. It could be short answers, it could be long answers, and it could be even the way I have the multiple choice or true and false questions. So this is one of the techniques which you can use, one of the tools that can be used to assess both the questions which are open-ended or the questions which are close-ended. And the last part was reflection. Many of you are even done with this task, and you can see that it's very important for a teacher and for a student as well to reflect. The teachers usually find out in the lesson what went well, what couldn't be accomplished and why couldn't be accomplished. In the same way, students should be responsible for their learning as well. They need to know what is being done and what couldn't be done and what was the reason behind that. This is going to help them to have this reflective practices, which is one of the 21st century skills, and this is going to help them to improve in future. To find out why this was not learned is the purpose, to find out how it can be learned afterward, or how it can be improved, how it can be achieved in the long run. So this was all about the way how you answered the question. What was the objective, the main aims for each and every activity, and what were the hidden aims as well for designing each and every activity. These were the few technological tools that I have used. In the next unit, it would be more rigorous, it would be more interesting, and you need to invest more time than the time you have invested this in this unit. Now let's talk about some of the questions that were asked by you. They were really very interesting, and some caught my attention. Really, I thought for twice to answer those questions. I would like to read the question. How do we connect 4 basic skill and 4 seasonal lesson? This is something which I didn't expect, because I thought that most of the questions would be close ended, but this question caught my attention because I really thought about it. How can that be possible? This question were asked by Salima Shehzad, Rabia Salim, Almas Salim, and the reason I'm saying that why I thought like that, that mostly while teaching O levels, we never incorporate all four C's in one lesson while teaching all 4 skills as well, just like reading, writing, speaking, and listening. We never do that. But when you ask these questions, I simply try to find out the answer, and I got the answer as well. So let's begin with example of argumentative essay, where we start off by choosing a topic. So here we can use cross cultural awareness, in which we just ask the students to think of the problems you have. We want the topic to be personalized. We can ask them to think of all the problems you have and make a list of it. So while they are doing it, they are actually working on cross cultural awareness. At the same time, they are writing the topics by critically thinking about the problems that they have in order to find out a solution. At the same time, what else they are doing is they are going to speak about whatever problems they have. So either if you want to have this integrated lesson, so in this stage, which is called the brainstorming stage, you can either have a speaking activity in which the students are going to speak about the problems they have in their lives or in their country, or you may ask them to write them out. Even if you want this to be a listening activity, what you can do is to play a video in which there are different clips or different pictures, in which the students are going to find out what's the problem being depicted in this picture. So it's more thought provoking, and it's going to help the students in listening to the clips that you have taken maybe from the news channels. So the second stage could be the stage in which you just pick out only one of the topics, or maybe 2 of the topics, and you ask the students to find out what are the other problems, or what are the causes or effects of this problem. So here the students may not only come up with the causes and effect, maybe they can support that with their personal opinions and evidences. So here they are using critical thinking to organize their ideas and to support the ideas with personal opinions and evidences. The third stage could be the creativity one, in which now the students are going to write the first draft of the essay, and here they would do it in an organized way, putting everything into a incoherent structure by paragraphing. And then finally, It's about communicative competence, in which the students are going to edit their work. They're going to prove their work. They would look for, uh, they may use a checklist here where they are going to find out the vocabulary, is it appropriate, it's precise or wide. Then they may just find out all the form of verbs, are they correct, is the tenses consistency maintained, or if all the mechanics, that is spellings, punctuation, that is correct or not. So this is one of the way how you can have all four all four C's incorporated in lesson where you are teaching all four basic skills of language. I hope this video would be productive to understand the basic purpose of executing this course, the ways it's going to incorporate you and cater the problems that you have in teaching language. So gear up for the second unit, where we would be more specific. In the second unit, we are only going to be focusing on directed writing. There are questions asked about reading for meaning and reading for ideas as well. And I would answer them in the later stages, in the later units, when they would be specifically focused. Thank you so much for listening and watching me. Bye bye.